Well. Good day, good morning, good afternoon. I won't say good night because we just starting. But anyway, welcome to another exciting episode of the Crotchety Old Men Podcast. Hi, I'm one of the co-hosts, Gary Smith. Joining me today is the three amigos. My partner on the left or down below or to my right is Paul P.C. Clemens. What's up,
Hey,
Paul?
hey, what's happening? How's everybody doing today?
Everybody's doing exceedingly well, my friend, exceedingly well. And then, of course, on the other side is I won't say the other word, but that's my main man, George Crumley. What's up, George?
What up, though?
Oh, look at that. Detroit style. What
That's
up,
right.
though? You know,
Only
10
way to
toes
go.
down. That's it. That's it. So, fellows, what brings us together this day?
Well, Smitty, as always, we want to try to bring as much information we can to our audience. And I'll be honest with you, man. I was a late comer to the AI game, but if you're listening to me, this is the most important, most impactful podcast we've ever done. This is our fifth season. And I think that this particular subject, talking about AI and how it's impacting your day to day life, how it's impacting the world as we live in, if you don't get on this train, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be somewhat left behind because the AI is taking over. There's nothing you can do about it. So, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about ChatGPT. We're going to talk about a couple of other tools out there that you're going to name, but listen, take notes, and do your research because this is very, very important. So, yeah, let's jump right into it.
Absolutely. So, exactly what is AI? All right. I'm going to put that question out there and let the audience, we're going to
But the
pause for
actual letters stand for what? Is it alternative what is it? Alternative intelligence?
artificial
Artificial
intelligence.
Artificial.
intelligence. Yeah,
Right,
Mhm.
yeah,
right.
yeah.
But now,
Artificial.
George, to your point, it could be alternative
Yeah,
because it is a tool to be used.
right.
Absolutely. And one of the examples of alternative that I could point out that we have here in Atlanta is I'm walking down the street and this cart's running up behind me and stops abruptly as I'm crossing its path. And then it continues to go on. And what it's doing is delivering what is it, Uber Eats, those types of things. They're delivering food to different people in different offices and whatnot. And I'm sitting here watching this strange box stop for traffic, back up. I mean, and then you've got the vehicles, the Wago or Go Way or whatever it is, where it's an autonomous car. You get in the back seat, nobody's in the front, takes you where you want to go. It puts on its turn signal when it wants to switch lanes. It stops if it has to. And I'm finding it amazing. Like George, I'm still piece is amazing to me and what it can do.
Yeah,
That's interesting, but I think from our audience perspective, they may not completely understand, how that's AI. So let's kind of break it down a little bit further than that. Let's first of all, I'm going to talk about what it's not. It's not Google. Okay, so if you've used Google before, which I will, and I'm as guilty as anybody else of this. I was a late adapter to AI and these new functions. So I'm thinking that, I'm using Google, and every time I use Google, the little star pops up and I ask it a question and it gives me back some information. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm getting where the restaurant is and, all this kind of stuff. And then I listened to this podcast and they were talking about, ChatGPT and how AI is impacting not only the business world, but, your everyday world. So let me give you an example. So I went into ChatGPT and I registered. It's free. I registered. And I said, I'm a 70-year-old man, 160 pounds, design me a workout regimen, 6 days a week. It came back and it said, this is what you should do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It went all the way through. I said, cool. I said, all right. So currently I ride a bike, I run, I walk 5 miles, when I do it, 5 miles. I play golf. And I said, so with that in mind, and it said, okay. And it's updated it. So then I said, I play golf 3 times a week on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I said on those days, I try to do a light exercise. And said, okay, I'll update that. So now it's got me. Then it says, do you want me to print this, a block print? I said, yeah. So it actually gave me a workout schedule for 6 days with my golf, with my running, my walking, and added like weights. It added like lunges and a bunch of other exercises, which I've been following, and it is great. So when you use this, it's got really practical application. It's like you're talking to somebody, and it's as you put information in, it's asking you, well, do you want this? Do you want more? Do you want less? So it's it can be frightening, but it's rare. Really, for me, it was really, really interesting, very eye-opening. And that ain't Google.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
to your point, George, and Smitty, I'm going to ask you to comment on this because you wrote a book,
Mhm.
and the book was written by the use of AI.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this was several years ago. So just to let our audience know, I think George says something about being left behind. Well, let me just share with you that, the train has already left the depot. And so what AI does, as I somewhat alluded to earlier, it's a tool. All right. And I use the tool no more, no less than you would use Google or you would use the dictionary for that matter. What AI does actually is it enables you to make better decisions. It does not make decisions for you. Okay. So this is not a fortune teller, it's not a Ouija board and any of that other kind of crap that people might think, on the deep end that AI does. But what it does do is that it enables you to make better decisions. From reframing or rephrasing a sentence or a paragraph to actually writing a book. My first book that I wrote, Five Keys to Creating Wealth Through Commercial Real Estate, I use AI to structure it, help with some pointers, help clarify languages and things of that nature. When I say languages, rephrasing or reframing a sentence so that it flows better. All right. And so in today's market, if you will, and you see all these corporations investing billions of dollars, and I do mean billions of dollars into AI platforms. So what it does is that it enhances efficiencies as it comes to running a business. It enables us to, hey, something that we've all gotten accustomed to with our cell phone, predictive analysis. When you're texting someone and you're meant to say goat and it said moat or whatever, but it's already predicting what your next word is going to be because of the intelligence that some human put into it. So there's a myriad of uses. We're going to kind of delve into some of them, not going to get too deep with it, but I implore you to embrace AI because it is now being used in just about every facet of human existence.
You're absolutely right, Smitty. And see, one of the things that I guess I feel so strongly about is, we've always heard the phrase that, black people are always left behind. Well, this tool is an equalizer because
Mhm.
everybody, I don't care what color you
That's
are
right.
at the same level. Okay, so it behooves you to jump on the machine as quickly as possible to learn to educate yourself on all the different facets of how AI can impact not only your life but your work career, your finances, and everything else you do to a day-to-day basis. If you get left behind here, it's your fault. It's not anybody else's fault because, like I said, I don't care what color you are. I don't know how much money you have, how much money you don't have. This is an equalizer because everybody's at the same point in taking off. So don't be a late adapter to what's going on. Dig into it. Like I said, it's a free application. Yeah, there's paid versions of it, but you can go in and you can teach yourself. Like I said, you can ask it to teach me how to use ChatGPT, and it'll talk to you and tell you how to use the tool. That's how intuitive it is. So don't be afraid of it. I mean, I heard one application. I was looking at TV. I think it was one of these morning shows, and they were saying they loaded their entire wardrobe into ChatGPT, and then it goes and say, "Well, what should I wear today?" And it matches your clothes and tells you what you should wear. That's how intuitive it is. It's not harmful. Like I said, like Smitty said, it allows you to make better decisions. It doesn't take over your life. So, and I think that's the misnomer here again. People try to put out this propaganda to stunt your growth, to make you afraid. They want to put all this negativity out. It's taking over. It'll kill you. It's taking over this. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. That's not what it is. So, hey, open your mind. You're on that computer anyway. You're in that. You got that phone on all these social media. Get away from that. Get to something that's gonna help you.
Yeah.
So, George, you just mentioned something that's interesting to me is the different versions. You mentioned the different versions. Let's talk about, if we can, let's talk about the different versions that are being offered through AI and some of these AI platforms.
Well, that's more of a Smitty question because, like I said, I'm a new adapter to it. I just got the free version of ChatGPT. I mean, it blew my mind just that. So, Smitty's been using this
Sure.
much longer than we have. So I'll let Smitty take that one.
Well,
Yeah, take off, Smitty.
all right. Well, here's a couple of applications that I use currently. And mind you, I'm still exploring. However, through that exploration, I've identified some areas as far as business and how you can build your business or strengthen your business. And what I found most important in a sense is efficiencies, operational efficiencies when it comes to owning your own business. And any business owner out there, whether you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, or what have you, you're always looking for ways in which you can run your business better. All right. To the degree that you're able to control
Right.
costs, which is an operational function of running a business, AI has enabled me to look at areas that are inefficient, that may be redundant, or what I call low value work. And so if I'm looking, let's say for instance, I'm in sales or what have you, and if I'm looking how to acquire new customers to come to my business, whether it's a consulting business, pizza business, you name it, it doesn't really matter. But if you're looking to grow your business, and for those business owners out there, you know what I'm talking about. The way you grow revenue is either by reducing costs or, of course, increasing prices. Very
Mm.
simple. AI enables you to do that so much more effectively. And here's a good example. Not only can you find out who your competitors are, where your customers are coming from, but if there's certain data, and they call it data intelligence, data analytics. So this is one of the uses of AI, data analytics. If I'm looking for the number of people who may buy pizza or eat pizza within my zip code, well, artificial intelligence can give you that kind of data based upon data that's been collected for pizzas that's been delivered, for pizza stores that's in the neighborhood, things of that nature. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's the market for pizzas. So now you know whether or not to open up another pizza store in an area that's already saturated with pizza places, or that there's an area where there's businesses or what have you, or a lot of kids, let's say for instance, because mostly kids eat pizza, where there's going to be a lot of pizza sales versus opening up your pizza parlor or what have you in an area that's not highly populated with pizza people, all right, or people that's going to eat pizza. Now, there's two ways to look at that. When you look, I go back to the old analogy about a guy that went to this foreign country, and he's a shoe salesman, and he went over there, and everybody over there was barefoot, and so he called back to the home office and said, "Hey, look here, ain't nobody over here wearing shoes. Everybody over here is barefoot." Then another salesperson go over there to that same country, and he's calling, but hey, send me some shoes, man. There ain't nobody over here wearing shoes, and we can sell a whole bunch of shoes over here. Okay, so AI can decipher and help you make a better decision. And that's just one instance. That's data analytics. Now we go back to that thing that I talked about earlier about the predictive piece. All right. And so now I can predict, let's say if I'm in real estate or what have you, gives me some prediction of how many people are about to move out of an area or into an area. And I can structure my marketing campaign around that. What AI does for you is that instead of you pulling out your hair trying to figure out how to structure that marketing campaign, Well, AI can actually, from A to Z, spell it out to what should be your first step, how to go about doing it, and what's the most effective way of launching a marketing program. I believe that you can clearly see that in any one of those instances is going to help you in terms of how to properly allocate resources towards your marketing or your advertising. And it's also going to help you allocate resources or how not to overspend and stuff in product production. And there's 1,000 other utilizations of AI, but those are just kind of two, kind of hit the surface, you guys, about the importance of not only embracing AI, but what it actually can do. And that's just on a business level.
Oh, absolutely. And as I think about it, I kind of chuckle because here's some of the stories I've heard from people as far as there was one story where a gentleman he was having a meeting with another guy and he didn't really know how to approach him as far as who he was. So he went into LinkedIn and he put his profile in and then he put the person's
Mhm.
information in that he was meeting with, and it basically gave him commonalities so that when he met him for the first time, he was able to break the ice very quickly because he knew what they had in common. So
Right.
here again, it's there's so many different applications for this service that just stimulate the mind. Like I said, if you're on these all these social media apps, I challenge you 20 minutes a day on one of these chat services, one of these AI platforms, and you will increase your knowledge so much. And here again, people say I can't find a job. Well, you can basically take the job description that you're applying for, put it
Right.
in AI. You can put your resume in AI, and it will design your resume that it fits that particular job. And why is this important? It's been important because the employer is using AI to weed out those that are looking for the job. And if
Right.
you don't use the key words, it's going to eliminate you before you even get to a live person to do an interview. I've had, members of my family, my son, my daughter, looking for jobs, and the question became, I've got this job interview. I've had the job interview. They're about to hire me. They asked me for my salary information, but I want to ask for a bonus, but I don't know how to do that. My answer was go to ChatGPT. It'll tell you. You put your information in it, and it'll tell you how to ask the exact verbiage of how to ask for a bonus on this new job that you're about to take. So, I mean, it's just so many practical ways to use ChatGPT. It's just like I said, it's very for me, it's very mind stimulating.
Man, I'm glad you mentioned that. And before you jump in here, PC, real quick before I forget, is that predictive and now analytics is very key in a situation like that. Let's say if you already have a job, but you're getting, in your opinion, low assignments or you're being left out of certain meetings or what have you.
Right.
Now, to me, common sense let me tell you that the predictive analysis that your butt's about to get fired or let go. Okay, you can call me for that one. All right,
Right.
but there's some things that you can put in the AI and put that information in there, and it can give you an intelligent rebuttal to that. So it may agree with Gary Smith. Say, yeah, you about ready to get canned. However, here's a way that you can prevent that, or here's a way that you can circumvent those situations just by uh, um, predicting the path or predicting the information that's happening and predicting what's going to happen next. And so those are some things that again this artificial intelligence can enable you to make better decisions. Sorry,
Now,
PC.
one thing I want to talk about as it relates to the AI that's on these Google and social media platforms. There's a lot of misinformation that takes place, and me being a researcher with what I do in the medical field, there's a lot that has to be studied to make sure that you're looking at the right information. A lot that I see on these different platforms are very misleading, and I would caution everybody that if you're using these social media platforms, you need to vet the story. Whatever story it is you're getting, you need to really vet and revet and counter vet and however whatever other vets there are. You see, because a lot of misinformation, a lot of people are using AI to do whatever their bidding is, and so we need to be clear on the fact that if you're looking at Google, if you're looking at WorldStar, if you're looking at whatever it is that's out there, just vet your information, please, because as you disseminate that information that you're receiving from these different platforms, you're also disseminating falsehoods and so forth and so on that go along with it, and you don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, we're being attacked by AI if we know it or not. I mean, we're all familiar with the voice interactive systems that, over the years we've used where you call a doctor's office or call somewhere and it asks certain particular question. And if you don't answer yes or no, or the question, it stumbles and it can't really, get you to where you want to go. Well, now that they're so sophisticated with this now, they can actually call you and they can actually you're actually talking to AI. So however you answer it, it can basically respond back to you as a regular human so that you don't really know if you're talking to a human or if you're talking to a computer. So
True.
it's very, very sophisticated now. So you have to be very careful, when you answer the phone, these telemarketing calls, asking for certain information, because here again, they may be recording information. They can actually take your voice and make it and do what they want it to
And they
do.
can take your picture, George. They
Yeah,
could take your
yeah,
picture and make it look exactly like you.
yeah.
Matter of
Because
fact, go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say my financial advisor basically called me and said they need like a skate word, a special word, now because these systems have gotten so sophisticated. They can receive a call and they can say it's from George Crumley, and I want to take X number of dollars out of my account, and it could sound like me, and they won't really know. So here
So
again,
what's the
they
skate?
need a
So what's the
special
skate word, George?
identification from their clients to really, be able to verify it, because everybody's heard about the grandma that gets the call that says the grandson is over in Europe and, he's in this jam and, he
Right.
needs this money and wire this money. Well, they've taken that to another level, whereas they can call in your financial advisor and say, hey, send me this money. Well, yeah, they need to verify that. So it's a double-edged sword. But the more you educate yourself on what's going on, trust me, it can be a very helpful tool.
Having said what you gentlemen have just said, so there should be a cautionary red flag that pop up that lets you know that do not give the AI agent too much personal information because it can and will be
There you
used
go.
against you. All right. So
Yeah.
stay very generic in your questioning and things of that nature when using AI. Don't give AI all your personal information or what have you, because then of course it can do that. And here's another tip. I think by now it's 2025, y'all. If you have not learned to trust but verify everything, then that's one of the first steps toward using anything.
Right.
Trust but verify. Verifications is important. And just as importantly as the verification piece is that um, this is a tool that can, all like any other tool, it can be used to hurt you as well as help you. And so understanding both utilizations, what you're using it for, and like George said, how it's being used against us as a society. You're always going to have that criminal element out there that's going to use it for nefarious reasons or what have you. But token, don't be afraid of it. All right. This is the level playing field. Okay. Whether you're raising capital or raising kids, it doesn't matter. Artificial intelligence presented can and is a good thing, can be a good thing, and is a good thing if used properly. No different than a gun. All right, a gun can either be used to protect you or to create a crime, commit a crime. So it all depends on the hands it's used. But the best defense is education, the way I look at it.
Yes.
educate yourself. Okay, find out really what it is for yourself. Do some of the things that George and PC has suggested. I mean, you go in there, medical information. All right. I look at the drug Ozempic. Ozempic was originally created to treat diabetics. All right. But what's the alternative use of Ozempic? It's now they probably
Weight,
selling more of a weight
weight
loss
loss.
than it is for
Right.
diabetics. The diabetic patient can't even
Right.
get the daggone stuff because the fat folks is buying it all up.
Mm.
Okay, and it works. I see people all the time. They would look like a Shamu, and now they shapely. So
I've started, Gary. To your point, I've started using AI as far as the medical. Medica is the name of it, and it's what it is. It's a dictionary of diseases.
okay,
And so I've started building my own materia medica as far as the various diseases that are all in this thing, and it names most of them and what the alternatives are. So when you begin to put something like that together, something is wrong with you. It'll have a holistic alternative. It'll have a nutritional alternative. It'll have a exercise alternative. It'll even have a spiritual alternative. So you'll have all these alternatives under this one disease, and that goes for every one of them. And it's amazing how the AI populates that for me, because I have a platform for that kind of stuff, and in some cases it's animated, but AI seems to kind of cut all of that in half for me, and it's a very practical tool to use.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna give you another one. So this summer, I took all these hours I spent trying to, design this vacation. We were going to Europe. And I spent days and hours, where we want to go, where we want to stay, what we want to do, and came up with a plan. And we had a great time. But then I found out later, you can put in the Google, I'm going to Italy, this is what I want to do, this is what I don't want to do. And basically it will put print you out a schedule of what to do. If you say I only want to spend 3 hours, on a tour, I only want to go on a tour every other day, the more information you put in it, the better it's going to design this plan. But it will design a whole vacation plan for you. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, what not to do, based on information. And like somebody said earlier, it helps educate you. It doesn't lead your life. It helps educate you, and it saves you so many man hours. So if you're hearing on the news that the jobs will be eliminated by AI, actually they won't be. Functions may be eliminated, but if you educate yourself, because this stuff still has to be interpreted. You still have to understand how to use this information. So those jobs will still be around, and you can still be around if you educate yourself now and don't get left behind. Like I said earlier, I think this is the most impactful podcast we've ever done. This information is so important. I don't care what age you are. They talk about, the ill effects of what it's going to do in school and people cheating on tests. No, it's a resource if used properly. If it writes you a paper, hell, you're supposed to put that paper in your own words. Use your own words. You're not talking like a college professor if you're a second year student in a college. So you have to be smart enough to know, take the information and curtail it the way it's going to help you, not accuse you of doing something you shouldn't have done. Be
yeah.
smart about it.
Well, here's another cautionary tale, and I'm going to somewhat rebut what George said to the degree in terms of job elimination. Oh, hell yeah, it's going to eliminate some jobs. Okay.
Oh,
Just,
absolutely.
just like technology has eliminated the need for a doggone saddle maker. All right. You're not selling as many saddles for horses as you did back in the 1700s and 1800s. Why? Because of technology. Horseshoes. Okay. The horseshoe guy that used to make horseshoes, that person's out of business. Blockbuster Video, they're out of business. Why? Because of this intelligence has gotten to a technology, period. So yeah, there will be some redundant jobs eliminated. There's no.
And it's like your situation, George, where we have a platform that we edit. They don't have a phone number, so if you have an issue, you have to go through this chat and whatnot. It's AI. Customer service type
Customer
jobs.
service.
They're falling by the wayside by the thousands,
Yeah.
simply because there's an AI platform that'll take the place
Right.
and that seat of that person. You don't have to buy a chair. You don't have to buy a computer. You don't have to pay a
Employee
Health
benefit.
insurance.
employee benefits. You don't have to do any of that.
You'll get sick.
So it behooves you to really get with the
Yes.
program, because if you don't, you're gonna be a lost soul in this world. And the movie, Leave This World Behind, was exactly about that. The Obamas produced the movie, and it shows you how things can go awry if allowed to do so. And AI is controlling everything. A ship comes in and it runs aground on the beach where everybody is sitting, and they got to move out the way. You got all these Teslas that
Spoiler
drive
alert! If
off.
you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
But you definitely need to see the movie, because it definitely depicts in grand fashion what AI can do or not do.
Well, entry level, and I think we kind of beat this horse up today, but the entry level piece of it is that it does level the playing field. But understand that the playing field is not as wide as it used to be. All right, it's a much narrower playing field. All right, so if you're going to play the game of life, play the game of being a part of this society, then you have to continuous learning is preeminent. You must continue to learn. I don't care what comes along. But here it is now. Computers, when they came, it took a while for it to graduate and for the masses to get to it. Same way with the cell phones and all that. But this AI thing is moving so rapidly that things that used to take days, hours, and weeks and months to do are done in minutes.
Right. And with that said, as we always say on the Crotch of the Man, we need some words of wisdom right here to close us out. Who's got those words today?
I've got some words for
All
you.
right, let's hear what you got, PC.
As we're talking about changes and different things that are going on in our lives at a very rapid pace, here's some words that would apply to that. Sometimes what looks like an obstacle in your path is actually a gift meant to move you in a different direction.
There you
Amen.
go.
That's
As
it.
we always say on the Crotch of the Old Man,
Booyah.
hey, if you didn't know, now you
Now
know.
you know.
Now you know.
All right, take care.
All right.
Peace.
All right. Peace
Peace.
out, everybody.
Hi, this is George with the Crotchety Old Man podcast. Hopefully, you've enjoyed listening to the Crotchety Old Man as much as we've enjoyed making each episode. If so, send us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you at the Crotchety Old Man podcast at gmail.com. Let us know what you enjoy about the show, what you'd like to hear more of. We'd love to receive your feedback. Remember, that's the Crotchety Old Man podcast at gmail.com. And as we always say, if you didn't know, now you know. Peace.